Greetings, guys, gals, non-binary pals, and welcome back to another video. Today, I wanted to have a look at this TikTok account that I stumbled upon the other day. It is of a conservative Christian woman whose personality is basically just, I hate feminism. And so naturally, that gives us a lot of content and a lot of stuff to talk about because internalized misogyny and just dragging down other women and not understanding feminism and what you're talking about is something that is extremely irritating and something that we love to talk about on this channel. So yeah, today I wanted to have a look at some of her TikToks and we're gonna talk about them and we're gonna just unpack because there's a lot going on. But before we get into it, I would like to let you know that today's video is sponsored by Aura, and I will tell you a little bit more about them soon. And also wanted to say thank you to today's patron of the day, Farah. I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for your support. I hope that you enjoy this video. And if anyone else would like to become a patron, you go to patreon.com/savvycat, click the top link in the description. Starts at as little as £1 a month, and I appreciate it greatly. Now, I spent ages and ages going through her account, and I thought that I'd only saved like 7 TikToks, but it turns out I saved like 23. So this video has the potential to be incredibly long, but I'll try to keep it short and sweet this time. And then if you enjoy it, let me know, and then I'll come back and do another one later because she has a lot of content and I have a lot to say. All right, let's get into the one that made me decide to check her out, which has around 200,000 likes.
I'm not a feminist. I can see men and I don't immediately feel threatened. I'm not a feminist. And then people ask me if I'm actually a woman. I'm not a feminist. I can wear dresses and feel pretty. I'm not a feminist. Thank you. I'm not a feminist. I don't hate children. I'm not a feminist. I would watch this video and I wouldn't be offended. I'm not a feminist. I can actually cook.
So funny. Because like, do you know what feminism is? Do you know what a feminist is? I love coming in and being like, I'm not a feminist. I am feminine and do all these stereotypical feminine things and I fit to my gender stereotype and gender role. Like, okay, good for you. Did you know that feminists can also do all of those things? Did you know that a large part of being a feminist is the ability to be independent, which also means being able to cook? And not everyone can cook and not everyone has to cook, and that's okay. It's so funny because this video single-handedly implied that feminists want men to do everything for them because they're above being like a housekeeper. Like, we're above cooking and cleaning. That's what men should do for us because they should serve us. But also, like, we won't accept men holding the door open for us because how dare you want to look after us? Like, you're being a little bit hypocritical here. Either I am hyper independent and do everything for myself and don't rely on anyone to do anything, or I think I'm so above men that they should do everything for me, including holding the door open and cooking for me. Like, you can't have both of these narratives going at the exact same time. The whole point of feminism is that it means women have a choice to do what they want. It means that I can cook, but also I will let a man cook for me. And I will expect that if I am in a relationship with a man, that sometimes he will cook and sometimes I will. I will accept someone opening the door for me, but I also can open it myself and will open it for other people. Not liking children is not a feminist trait. Not having children is not even a feminist trait. Some people are just not cut out to be parents. And I think that honestly, it's a real positive thing when people decide like, you know what? I don't think I should have kids. I think that more people need to make that decision because there are a lot of people who become parents just because they think they have to, just because it's the thing they should do, and they suck at it. Some people love kids but are like, I don't think I could be a parent. And like, fair enough, you know? I think more people need to decide to not have kids. And feminists can be feminine, feminists can be masculine, feminists can be whatever they want. We should all be feminists because we should all want equality and equal opportunities and equal everything. And that's what a feminist is. This is one of her pinned TikToks. So it has like 1 million views.
If I decided to get married, I would never take his last name. I would use my maiden name. So you'd use your father's name? No, I'm going to use my mother's maiden name. So your grandfather's name. Okay, got it.
This is a conversation that comes up on Twitter every other month. Like, it comes up all the time of people being like, realizing that no one actually has their own last name. Women only have their like father's last name, their grandfather's last name. No woman has her own last name. And it's like, okay, so I'm taking that and applying it to this conversation. So it's like, I'm going to use my mother's maiden name. So your grandfather's last name? It's like, yeah, okay. But if I'm marrying a man, his last name then isn't his last name either. It's his father's and his father's and his father's. So the last name doesn't really belong to necessarily a man. It belongs to you. My last name, sure, was given to me because it's my dad's last name and my dad's family's last name. But it's not my dad's last name anymore. It's my name. My name is Savannah Murphy. That's my name, my last name. I've claimed that as my name. And if I were to get married, I'm not changing my last name because that's my last name. It's not my dad's last name. Sure, that's why I have it, but it's my name. It's part of my identity. It's the name that I've grown up with. And I'm not forfeiting that to like become a part of this other man because their name is my own name. Why aren't we looking at these men and being like, that's not even your last name, that's your dad's last name, and that's your granddad's last name? Like, we don't do it for them. My mom didn't change her last name when she got married. She kept her last name. And if I got married, I also would not change my last name, except I have two exceptions. One, if my partner had a fucking sick last name. Like, if my partner had a cool last name, then yeah, maybe I'd change it because I want a cool last name. I went to school with someone whose last name was Rainbow. If I was marrying someone whose last name was Rainbow, you bet your fucking ass I'm changing my last name to Rainbow because what the heck? And the other alternative is that, like, I understand now that a lot of the time when you change names now, at least when you're doing it outside of like a traditional conservative household, you change names so that your family can all have the same last name. I completely understand wanting to have the same last name as your partner, as your kids. Like, I understand that. And hyphenated names are long and a bit of a hassle. So I completely get changing your last name so your whole family can have the same last name. But that's where I think that people don't take advantage of the fact that you can just create a new last name. Like, people don't take advantage of that enough. Like, I think instead, when you get married, you should just choose a cool last name to have and then give your kids that last name. I think that's the best way to do it. Like, I understand your name is part of your identity. I don't really care about my name that much. I care about my identity enough to not change it just to fit with a man. But having a last name that my whole family could have that's like new and like meaningful, that's so sick. That's so cool. My parents were considering doing that. And they are very creative in the sense that, like, my mom especially, like, took so much care in names and how they named us. I have long stories about it. Basically, my initials are Sam because my parents did their wedding vows to green eggs and ham. So it was like, I will love you here, I will love you there, I will love you anywhere. And so my initials are Sam to, like, symbolize that. And my middle name is Ariel, after the mermaid. And so because of that, and because my dad's last name is Murphy and my mom's last name is May, they were considering a mashup name that was going to be Mermaid, but like Murmayd. And to this day, I'm so upset that they didn't go through with it. Imagine if my last name was Mermaid. But you know what I mean? Like, that's a sick way to do it. Just combine your names or come up with a brand new name. Especially if you are like in a relationship. Like, I know of queer people who do it, who have been like disowned from their families. They just go and create a brand new last name for themselves. I think that's a sick way to do it. I think we should do that more often. Anyway, this went off on like a massive tangent about names, but like, I don't think last names are like necessarily to tie you to your family, as in like your previous generations. I think they're more just about self-identity, and you can identify with your name however you want. But anyway, your name does not belong to your father or your grandfather or his father or whatever. It belongs to you. That's what I'm trying to get at. Me taking the biggest step back when he says feminism has been good for women, and it's just her stepping away and backing away from a man who says that feminism has been good for women. Because yeah, you know, feminism has been notoriously so terrible for women because, like, before feminism, women couldn't vote. Women were viewed legally as the property of a man. We could beat our wives and completely just discriminate against women and not grant them any rights or even treat them as people because they were objects and property that could be bought and sold and traded. Yeah, I think that was great actually. Before feminism, what a world to live in. Now, you are able to make TikToks, be on the internet, have your own money, and make your own choices because of feminism. You know, things that we actually should be taking a step back from though? Spam calls and spam emails and being unsafe on the internet. And that is where today's sponsor, Aura, comes in handy. Are you absolutely sick and tired of receiving spam calls and spam texts or spam messages on like WhatsApp or Telegram or whatever? Because I am. And that is because that when you use the internet and you go on to all your little sites and you click things like accept cookies without reading everything, because whoever reads anything, you just want to get on the site, you are often accepting your data being sold to data brokers, and that includes your contact information. So basically these data brokers can buy your information and have access to that, and then you will be receiving these spam calls and texts, and a lot of them are trying to take your money, which is not good. So with Aura, you are able to go and opt out of having this information being sold from anywhere that it is happening. It will automatically opt you out, and then data brokers are legally no longer allowed to sell that information. As well as protecting your information from being sold from data brokers, it also helps protect you against identity theft, as well as keeping all of your passwords safe. And it also acts as a VPN, so you don't have to download a whole bunch of apps to have all of these things happening at once. You just have one simple place to go, and it's so easy to set up and so easy to use, and it'll keep you safe online and allow you to exist and carry on existing on the internet. If you would like to try Aura out, then you can go to aura.com/kiwi and get your first 2 weeks completely free. I value my privacy and I value yours, and I highly incline you to go and check it out. Use the link in the description or go to aura.com/kiwi and try it out for yourself. I promise that you will not regret it. And happy browsing. Let's get back into the video. If feminism is about equality, why don't feminists give up their high-paying indoor marketing jobs and go work on an oil rig? A few reasons. One, there are some women who do work on oil rigs, but two, it's not a safe place for women to be, because they haven't made it a safe place for women to be. I was watching a video recently about like female tradies in New Zealand, and they were talking about it, and there's like very, very few, I think it's like 2% of all of them or something, and talking about how difficult it is to be in that industry because you aren't taken seriously. You face so much workplace harassment. Even like when you go into the jobs and things that you have, people just, they don't take you seriously. They don't listen to you. You get harassed. Like it's harder for you to even get the job in the first place. Like women don't go into highly male-dominated fields a lot because they don't feel safe in those environments. Not because the oil rigging itself is dangerous, but just being around that many men in that environment doesn't feel safe. I hope that helps. And contradicting to that opinion of why don't women leave their high-paying tech jobs, we have this one.
Women don't make as much money as men. This is literally sexism. Men just choose higher paying degree fields and women tend to choose lower paying degree fields. This is not sexism, this is just personal choice.
And the statistics on the screen are men choose petroleum engineering, 87% male, aerospace engineering, 88% male, chemical engineering, 72% male. I love that they're all engineering. And women choose childhood education, 97% female, community services, 81% female, and social work, 88% female. And then I'm sure you could expand further from there, being like there are more male doctors and more female nurses is another one that comes up a lot. And I just have one question for you here. Why do you think those jobs pay more? Do you think that that's a coincidence? Do you think that men are choosing higher paid jobs? Or do you think that jobs that are dominated by men pay more because they're dominated by men? Once more women start coming into specific areas, those jobs, the respect for them falls, the pay for them falls, the amount of men who then want to take on those careers goes down. Every time women start infiltrating a specific area, it stops being taken seriously as a job. Interior design, that used to be a largely male-dominated area that was taken seriously and paid really well, and now it's very largely female, and it's not seen as like a real job anymore. Who chose what was worth more? Who made the decision that being an engineer was worth like 3 times as much money as being a teacher? Like, who decided that? Why? Why was it decided that all the fields that women are in get paid less and are taken less seriously? And can you see any other correlation other than the fact they are female dominated? So maybe that's the problem. Maybe we should just be paying people more equally. That's what the gender pay gap is pay jobs more equally. It's not even necessarily about the pay being different within the same job. It's just in general, like, yeah, men have high paying jobs because jobs that are predominantly male pay more.
You want to stop men from harassing women in the workforce? Just ban women from the workforce. See, that's how gun control works.
I don't think so. In this analogy, are you trying to say that women are the guns in this situation? Because what we're trying to say is ban guns to stop shooting from happening. So you're saying to ban women to stop harassment from happening, but women aren't the weapons. Women are the victims. Men are the weapons. So it would be banning men from the workforce.
Have y'all noticed that the question has never been, what can we do to empower women, but what can we do to change women to make them more like men?
Literally, what are you on? What? The question has always been, what can we do to empower women? No one has ever asked, what can we do to change women to make them more like men? That's not a question anyone has ever asked. The question has quite literally always been, how do we empower women? And if you are viewing that as us changing women into men, you have a very like warped sense of gender and gender roles. Because I think that if you view being independent as inherently something that only men do, that's a problem. It's a problem. The whole thing is about giving women choices. It is about empowering women. It's about empowering women to make whatever decision they want to make. And at the same time, empowering men to also make the decisions that they want to make. Because as discussed earlier, sometimes men don't have the choice. Sometimes men would like to be stay-at-home fathers or homemakers, and they don't have that choice. And I think that we should also be allowing men to have that option as well. Women can work, men can stay home, women can do whatever they want. You know, it is about empowering women. And if you view being equal as changing into men, that's a you problem.
Can I have an opinion about abortion? No uterus? No opinion. So if I don't have a uterus, can I become a woman? Yes, of course.
Did you think you did something there? You can have an opinion on abortion if you don't have a uterus. That's fine, but you shouldn't be the one making the laws and the rules. And that goes to trans women without uteruses as well. This goes to anyone who doesn't have a uterus, no matter what your gender is. If you are not someone who is affected by abortions, that is not a decision for you to be making. That gender has nothing to do with that. A trans man can absolutely have an opinion about abortion and be in a position to be making decisions about it. A trans woman, however, it's not something that affects her, so it's not a decision that she should be making. And I think that a trans woman is slightly more valid than like a cis man in the sense that there is a closer bond, and I feel trans women have more empathy towards like cis women and people with uteruses because they have experienced other forms of misogyny before, you know what I mean? However, I don't think that like a trans woman should be in the decision-making seat about abortion either, because yeah, no uterus, no opinion. If it doesn't directly affect you, it's not really your place to be making medical decisions for someone else. Yes, people without uteruses can indeed be women, and no, they should not be the ones making the laws about uteruses and what happens to them. I don't know what your point was here, but you missed the mark. Feminism is a scam. Tells women that abortion is empowerment. Marriage rates historically low. Female depression, anxiety, and suicide rate higher than ever. Forced women to work 9 to 5s. Convinced women that their fertility is a curse. Convinced women that their fertility is a curse. This is something that conservatives have made up for God knows what reason. No one thinks that. No one is looking at fertility like it's a curse. Like, we can joke about it because it's like, it sucks to get your period every month and you're like, God damn it, I'm not having a baby right now. Please stop. Why is my body doing this? But like, fertility is not a curse, and I think everyone, most everyone can agree that the fact that we are able to like grow freaking tiny humans inside us is like a genuinely magical and beautiful thing, regardless of where you stand in terms of politics or anything. Saying that feminists think that fertility is a curse, I don't know where you got that information. I don't know who sold that to you, but I have never met a single person who thinks that. Tells women that abortion is empowerment. I don't think anyone's saying that you have to get an abortion in order to be empowered. It's saying that the choice to have an abortion is empowering, because it's the choice for someone to choose if they are ready to give birth or if they are not, where they previously did not have that choice. If you get pregnant and you are given the option to terminate that pregnancy or not, that is just empowering to have that choice. If you take the choice to terminate that pregnancy, that is empowering because you were able to make that decision and you were able to make it for yourself. The actual abortion in itself is not empowering. It's the fact that you were able to make that choice should you need to. And need I remind you, no one wants to have an abortion. No one ever wants to make that decision. It's a difficult thing to do. It's a difficult thing to talk about, and it is traumatizing for so many people. Marriage rates being low, I don't understand why that's a problem. People are just not getting married so much. I don't really get the big deal with that. Get over it. Suicide, anxiety, and depression higher than ever, and forced to work 9 to 5s are they're quite interlaced and close together. I think that capitalism definitely plays a massive role on mental health, but I would also like to say that I'm pretty sure men's mental health is also really bad right now. I think in general mental health is really bad, and that's because we are in the middle of like a recession where life is just hard. It's expensive. It's difficult to do anything. The pressure is ridiculous. We are exposed to so many horrors every single day. We are constantly seeing everything happening everywhere all at once, while also having to work our asses off just to be able to make ends meet, while we see people with billions of dollars just doing whatever they want while the world is fucking burning. We have the responsibility of so many people and so much trauma on our shoulders from generations past. Like, yes, mental health is terrible right now. But that's not a feminist problem. That's just a life problem and a world problem and a capitalism problem. So we gotta deal with all of that. Got nothing to do with feminism, I promise. Especially because, I don't know, being like it's at an all-time high now, I don't think they really recorded women's like anxiety and depression like in the 50s. Like, I don't think that was something anyone really cared about. I don't think that was something that was tracked. Like, I'm sure there were a lot of women who weren't doing very well mentally back then, but no one really gave a fuck and there was nothing they could do about it. So songs that would definitely be cancelled today, and it's Skater Boy. He was a boy, she was a girl, can it any more obvious? And get it because it's funny because she only said 2 genders and they love each other, which is straight, and that's bad and will get you cancelled. I'll have you know that I think the largest lovers of Avril Lavigne from that era and like Skater Boy are queer people. I feel like queer people very much were very into Avril Lavigne and are the ones who have still held on to these. I fucking loved old Avril Lavigne so much. I think a lot of us do. Before concerts, Skater Boy will play and the entire fucking arena, the entire venue is scream singing that shit because it's fucking Skater Boy. It's Avril Lavigne. Did you know that regardless of anything, no one is denying that men and women exist and do fall in love and have relationships with each other. And did you know you are allowed to write binary romantic songs and it's not punishable or cancelable? And also queer people also will still write songs like that and sing songs like that, because some people are trans, like binary trans and straight, and some people are bisexual or pansexual or whatever. Like, come on, be so for real.
I spent about 80% of my time talking about Regina, and the other 20% of the time I was praying for someone else to bring her up so I could talk about her more.
So this says, I spent about 80% of my time talking about how feminism is toxic, and the other 20% of the time I was praying for someone else to bring it up so I could talk about it more. This is me, but with stray kids. All I talk about, and then I sit there twiddling my thumbs waiting for someone else to bring them up. That aside, that's such a sad way to live. Like, having your entire existence be talking about something negative, like something that you hate, is so sad. Why are you dedicating 100% of your energy talking about feminism being toxic? Like, pick something you like, at least. If you're gonna do that, maybe at least be like, talk about how I love being a homekeeper. You know, at least then it's positive and you're talking about something you like. You're spending 100% of your time being negative. You talk about having bad mental health in women. You want to talk about something that's going to give you bad mental health? It's dedicating 100% of your time to being miserable and complaining about something. Do something happy. I know that's saying a lot coming from me when literally all of my content is negative and complaining about things. But I also talk about things that make me happy in these videos, such as stray kids, as I mentioned before. And again, offline and in my life, there's other stuff. Just being like, I spend 100% of my time being negative. Get a hobby, get a life, do something else, please, because putting just hate into the world does no good. If you don't agree with feminism, fine, like, okay, go off. Live your oppressed little fantasy if you want to. Good for you. But leave everyone else alone. This is the thing about choice. You're like, some women want to stay home and be a housekeeper. Okay then, you can do that. But feminism has allowed you that choice while also allowing me the choice to do this, you know? So I am a feminist because I want to keep being able to grant people those choices and give people more choices. If you're gonna complain about feminism being toxic, that's just you taking away everyone's choices. You're complaining about shit you don't care to understand, which is just bothersome. And you're dedicating 100% of your energy to it. Get a hobby, please. Anyway, I think that I'm going to end this one here. I hope that you did enjoy this video. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I upload twice a week and would love to see you again. A massive thank you to my Sprout and Above patrons whose names are up on the screen right now. I appreciate you so much. And a huge, huge thank you to my Kiwi Cat patrons: Harry, Bobby, Josh, Mandy, Sparrow, Ikazel, Jessica, Eldo, Danielle, Raven, Elias, Boston, Chris, Amelia, and Samuel. I love and appreciate you so, so much. Thank you so much for joining. If anyone else would like to become a patron, you go to patreon.com/savvycat, click the top link in the description. For as little as £1 a month, you get my videos a day early, as well as podcasts a week early. And then for £3 and up, you get things such as outtakes, bonus mini podcasts, live streams, vlogs, and more. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, The Queer Kiwi, and Twitter, That Queer Kiwi. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe. Keep fighting. I love you. Mwah.